Okay, everybody. Well, at least the video that I put up before this on the psychology of witchcraft and depression, um, you got most of it. Um, I'm not sure even how to go about um, finishing it, or uh, my internet freaked out on me. Um, they kept taping, but I lost my sound. And I really don't want to go back and delete it because there's a lot of useful information in there before. But what it boils down to is you're going to have to decide for yourself. Like I said, if it's not a chemical imbalance that you're going through, then you need to do some shadow work, as we call. Um, find out what issues are bothering you to the point to where you can't function. Because I'll tell you, life is already short. Short enough. It's we don't get to be here long enough. Um, and I, for one, know that it is hard enough, even when you're sane and things are going well, uh, much less if you have some sort of disorder, mental disorder. Because mental disorders will also, of course, affect your everyday life. It affects your relationships, your ability to learn, to move ahead in your life, to work. Therefore, it could lead to you not having money, and um, just it's a snowball effect. So, if you're aware that you have these issues, please get some help. Don't think you can do it by yourself. Um, because a lot of people do that and they're not actually healed. What they end up doing is just covering it up, um, by way of drugs, alcohol. They develop other disorders, as in eating, sleeping. Um, you know, if they may get an eating disorder, they may not know what to do, so they eat all the time, or they're mad at themselves for letting this and that happen and not knowing what to do, and so they starve themselves. They develop anorexia, alcoholism, um, depending on drugs, illegal drugs. Um, Usually, the relationships that they try to be in will not work, because that old adage, if you're not happy within yourself, you're not going to be able to make anybody else happy. Okay. It is true. Because if you're miserable, you're going to make everybody else around you miserable. Therefore, nobody wants to be around you, which in the long run is only going to make you feel even worse because you don't have any friends. Nobody wants to be around you because you depress them. It seems to them like you're not even trying to get better. Um, there's just too much in this day and age in medicine, in science alone, to not get the sort of help you need. Yes, I think witchcraft could help. Not the actual act of, per se, casting spells, but just doing the routines we go through. This is why we have certain things in place in witchcraft. We have um, our purification baths, as we call them, and removing negative energy. Whether people want to believe that's true or not, look at the psychosomatics of it. If you believe whenever you sit down in that tub and you start washing yourself off, if you can see in your mind's eye all that negative energy leaving your body, being washed off your body. And then as the tub drains, you imagine that, picture that, all that negative energy going down the drain to be put back into the ground and recycled into good energy. It's all about belief. It's a sort of faith. I guess you could call it faith. And it's also, as with anything else in your life, it's how you perceive it. I wish I could think of a really good example of. I will here in a minute, but it really depends a lot on how you look at things. Okay, like this pandemic. Okay, let's just use that one. That's the big major thing going on right now. So let's use this as an example of positive and negative. Okay. Yeah, no, we aren't allowed to go shopping anymore that much. Well, it's not that we're not allowed. There's restrictions. You have to wear a mask. Certain stores are closing early. People are staying home more. They can't go out and party with their friends or, do this and do that. Okay. That's definitely a life changer, or should I say lifestyle changer. Okay. That may seem negative, right? Okay. Look at the positive. Look at the positive side of that. People are staying home, okay, together, their families together. People don't do that anymore. There's no family time anymore because everybody's busy working. Kids are in school. And then when the kids get home, they want to go play or instead of having movie night at the house with the whole family on Saturday night, everybody goes their separate ways and does whatever it is they want to do. Maybe once a year, if the family can afford it, they may take a family vacation. Do you know how miserable some of them vacations are? Because they're not used to spending so much time together. Honestly, once they get together, they don't have anything to say to each other. Yeah. They're like, the kids are bored, and mom and dad are sitting there like, well, tell us how your life's going. You can't do this once a year. You can't wait till vacation and wonder how your kids' lives are going or decide all of a sudden that you want to be in connection with them. This has to happen on an everyday basis. This should be something that the home is involved in. That's what the home is for. So in a way, you can look at it like it's not so bad. It's a horrible way that it had to happen, yes, but it's not a horrible thing that people are having to stay home and take care of their families or be around their families. I do know for a fact, yes, that, in this day and age, it takes both parents working. I've said this before. They don't have the time to stay with their families now or, like they used to. But now there's no excuse. Yeah, some people still have their jobs and are still working like nothing ever happened. But then there is a lot of them that aren't. And so instead of thinking, sitting around at home all the time going, oh, I'm so bored. I wish I could go here and there and blah, blah, blah. Well, have family time. Watch that movie you've been wanting to watch. Do some kind of craft. And I know with teenage kids, that probably ain't going to happen. But if they won't come your way, go theirs. They're in their own little world. Everybody that's ever had teenagers knows this. You have to get in their world and remember how you were as a teenager. You know, mom and dad are no longer cool, man. Well, show them that you are cool. I mean, I'm an 80s baby, you know. Well, actually, I was born in the 60s, but I grew up in the 80s, you know, with big hair and rock music and the parachute pants, all that stuff. You know, uh, it can be a lot of fun, even with your teenage kids. They'll actually start thinking you're cool. You know, um, there's so many uh, ways to look at this. It all depends on how you want to perceive it. If you're a negative ninny or if you're a positive Paula, you know, think of the good if you can at all times with anything that happens in your life. And I guarantee you that's going to cut down a lot of your depression. Um, yes, we all have regrets. Um, we all have traumas that we've had to get over. Um, and instead of looking at that trauma like, oh, that was a horrible thing in my life, and I can't, and I'm having these issues because of that. Well, quit getting cop outs. Okay, so something in your past has caused you to be a really nervous person or a non-trusting person, and work on that. You know, that's like anything else. Just because that one person did something bad to you doesn't mean that everybody is. That doesn't mean everybody's out to get you. Just because that one incident happened in your life doesn't mean that your next marriage or relationship or whatever it is going to turn out the same way. You've got to have that faith and that hope and belief that you can turn this around. This is your path, it's your life. You have to walk it. So why not, you know, even when something kicks you in the head, knocks you down, just say, "Watch me get up." You know, you have to be pretty strong to get through this world. And when I've worked in a lot of different um should I say departments in nursing. Um and at one time I worked in a psych hospital. And it is so amazing how many of those people I could relate to just simply from things that had happened in my own life. You know, the similarities were just scary. And it kind of scared me. I thought, oh my gosh, I caught myself doing this. I started to freak out. You know, it's like, is this going to happen to me? You know, I went through the same thing. Is this going to happen to me? And then paranoia sets in, and it just goes on and on. You have to stop yourself. I had to say, wait a minute, stop it. You got over that. You know, um, your mind is a very powerful thing, and you can talk it in to just damn near anything. So when you feel yourself going into a negative thought like that, and I am the world's worst, so I can openly tell y'all that it helps me, I automatically detour my attention. Um, if I'm in the house by myself, which I'm home alone a lot. Um, Sometimes, I'll just get to thinking about things, or I'll hear a certain song that'll um, set off a memory. And from that memory, it goes to this one. And then before I know it, I've got my entire past laid out in front of me, and I'm trying to analyze it and figure this and that out. And it's to no avail. All I end up doing is going right back into that same frame of mind that I was in back then that I worked so hard to get out of. In other words, once you overcome it, don't go back. I'm not saying never think about it. That's impossible. That part of your life, that's what it is, a part of your life, and it will always be a part of your life. You just have to realize that it can't bug you anymore. It can't bother you anymore. It's been dealt with. It's like a silent thing just standing over there like, hey, remember me? And I know I make it sound easy, but it really can be that easy. Same as in witchcraft. There's one way I can compare this to witchcraft. To be a witch, you have to have a very strong mind. To dare, to will, to know. And the reason it says to know is there's no doubt in your mind that this is going to take place. Ever. Not ever a doubt. You have to be that stubborn and that hard-headed. It's going to happen. Well, do the same with your own life. If that past starts sneaking up on you, you command it. No, you're not allowed here. Stand firm. Believe it or not, it really can be that easy. At first, it may not be, but you get better at it, as within anything that you do in your life, whatever it is. You had to learn and you have to take those first steps at some point. So keep walking. There's all kinds of help out there, like I said. And and I know a lot of people are ashamed. They don't want to ask for help for whatever reason. Some people simply just do not have the money to go to a psychiatrist. Well, I can't think of any town, unless it's so small that, it might have a grocery store if you're lucky, and maybe a gas station, and that's it. But most towns has a DHS office, and that's what they're there for. If they don't have somebody on staff that can help you, then they can refer you. And even if you don't have the money, they can refer you to someone that may not charge you, or may charge you so little that, don't let that be an excuse. And don't let your pride stand in the way of getting well, having mental clarity. Because if you don't have that, then you're pretty much screwed. And I'm sorry, but you cannot be a witch. I mean, being a witch and actually living the way we live and casting spells, you have got to have that mental capacity. You've got to have that brain power. Without it, you're not effective. You will never be effective. So get mad if you have to. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and say, no, I am not going to let this beat me. Be stubborn. Don't give in. Don't let them beat you down that far. You know what I'm saying? Because they will try. I know they'll try. It's been done to me. Sometimes you'll feel like you've just been tested to the ends of your limit, and there's where people start thinking of suicide. Don't go there. Don't go there. Is it possible to be a real witch? Well, sure. You're talking to a real witch. What do you consider a real witch? You don't know. Anyway, yeah, don't let this world get you down so bad that you start thinking, in that way, because it's not. Um, that's not a way to go. And you hurt a lot of people when you do that sort of thing. So, I mean, if you turn to witchcraft for that reason, I mean, everybody walks the path for whatever reason that might have brought them to it. I don't even know. It could be anything. So, you're going to have to know yourself. You're going to have to um, figure out what it is that makes you tick. And you're going to have to learn to let bygones be bygones. You can't carry that baggage around forever and expect it to be any good for you or anybody else around you. Um, there's too many things in place and people that are willing to help you. And yes, witchcraft, I think, of course, I'm a witch. So, of course, I'm going to say, I honestly don't know some days what I would have done without my path. I mean, there has been days that I have went in there at my altar and just cried. I didn't do a spell. I didn't call in the four corners. I didn't call in my goddess. I just sat there, put my head down, and cried. And that's what I needed to do at the time. And crying does not make you weak. You'd be surprised how much when you just sit down and have a good ball that it releases, and it's a proven fact. If you're upset or enraged or whatever and you cry, there is a difference between bad tears and good tears. It is scientifically proven. Look it up. When you're upset, you're releasing certain poisons and toxins in your body through your tear ducts. You cry that stuff out. When people say cry it out, that's what they mean. Go cry it out. If you're happy, if you're one of those like me that laugh until you cry, well, you can tell the difference. Um, like for instance, have you ever been really upset and you cried and cried and cried and your eyes were swelled up and your throat hurt and you had a headache and you just felt like crap because you'd cried so hard for so long, and then all you wanted to do was sleep? Well, that's your own body's way of releasing that poison out of your body, and that's what I call it, poison. Bad thoughts, being upset. Now, when you're happy and you laugh till you cry, you don't feel that way, do you? No. It's a wonderful feeling. And so our bodies, as I've said before, have a wonderful way of taking care of itself, but we also have to nurture it and we have to help. And your brain is a very powerful, powerful organ. You just don't even realize, how powerful. So if you are going through depression, or even if you have been diagnosed with a chemical disorder of any sort, um, please make sure you keep taking medication. If it's been prescribed for you, take your medication. A lot of people get in trouble because they'll take it for a while and then they'll say, "Oh, I feel better. I don't need it anymore." And they'll stop taking it. And then they relapse. They really throw themselves into a tailspin because that chemical that their body's been needing is no longer there all of a sudden that fast, and it could be worse than the original diagnosis. So do not ever stop taking medication if it's been prescribed to you by a doctor without talking to them. I mean, there's a reason that they have you on it. And I guarantee you, your quality of life will be a lot better. Depression won't be as bad. As I said, everybody's going to have that. It's an emotion. I'm not saying, that you're never going to be depressed. You wouldn't be human if you weren't depressed. But it won't be so overwhelming that it lasts for years and years, last a day or two or whatever, and you come out of it. But get the help you need, and if you just need somebody to talk to, email me. I'm good with that. Like I said, I'm not I don't have a PhD or anything. I have some experience in it, and I have lived it. So, and still do every once in a while. I mean, it'd be really easy right now for everybody, because we're stuck in our homes, to be depressed. But like I said, find things to do. Clean your house. Do projects. Watch that movie you've been meaning to watch. Journal. Make candles. There's a lot of things you can do. Cook, bake, try new recipes. It's endless what you could do. It's all about how you choose to do things. I could choose to sit right here at this table and be depressed all day going, oh, I wish I could do this, and I wish I could do that, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Or I could say, okay, I got a chance to clean my house today. I can finally get that done, and, catch up on laundry, and I can make these candles, find stuff to do during the day. And that also helps with depression. You'd be surprised just how that little bitty things may help you if you're depressed. Get a new hairdo, color your hair. Believe it or not, you'll feel like a whole different person. I've never colored my hair, but I've thought about it, just because I get tired of the same old look. I don't know. It's just endless what you could do. It just all depends on how bad you don't want to be depressed, I guess. If you want to be depressed, sit there and wallow in it. That's your business, and I'm sorry about your luck. I'm really sorry that you prefer to be depressed over being happy. Whatever the reason is, there's got to be an opposite way to go about it. And it's all about how you look at stuff. So I hope I answered your question. I know it took 2 videos because the other one, the sound went out. And of course, I told you I wouldn't mention your name, and I'm not. I hope this helped you. And I know it's really easy for me to sit here and tell you how to do this, but I'm telling you in a way that I've already worked through it at times in my life. I'm not saying I'll never be depressed again, I'm sure, but like I said, there's a difference when you're just depressed for whatever reason and you get over it, you heal from it, and whenever you're just depressed all the stinking time. Try your damnedest to look for the good things, because there are a lot of them. Even going outside and at night, look at the stars, think how pretty they are, and just mind over matter. Same as when you put out a spell, you're creating this in your mind, and you can do the same with your own being, with your own well-being. You just got to be strong. You got to be tough, and don't let this shit, kick you in the ass. Because I know it gets a lot of people. We lose a lot of people to depression alone, because for whatever reason they don't get help, whatever that reason may be. And as I said, if it's something to do with a clinical issue, then there's medications for it. And don't be ashamed about being on medication. Hell, you don't even have to tell anybody you're on medication. They'd probably never know. So there's no excuses in my book about this. I mean, whatever the circumstance is, it can be fixed and dealt with. So I guess that's all I'm going to say about it. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing over and over, what I'm going to say. If you want to talk some more with me about it, I mean, I'll listen. I'd rather you talk to your doctor, because they can actually put things into motion that will help you. With me, it would be just a sounding board. And I understand sometimes that's all people need to know, that somebody actually gives a damn about them. So, blessed be. And I wish good mental health to you, and take care of yourselves. Be the boss. Be the boss of your life. Okay? Blessed be. Bye-bye.